Welcome back to my channel. I will be reviewing Tyler Perry's House of Payne, episode 23, titled Mixed Emotions. So let's get right into it. It starts off with Miranda. She comes over to Aunt Ella's and Uncle Curtis's home, and Uncle Curtis is sitting on the couch, and of course Miranda doesn't knock. So Miranda comes in and she needs Aunt Ella. She needs a babysitter basically, and she's trying to get Aunt Ella to watch Christian. Uncle Curtis lets her know that Aunt Ella isn't available, that she's not home, and that he's not able to do it. And so Miranda's like saying she has some big client and, Calvin was at work. So basically Uncle Curtis found all these excuses not to watch Christian. So he said he ended up saying he had the whooping cough. So then Miranda's like, okay. So she leaves. And then we're at Malik's home. And Malik and Lisa are at the house. Malik is showing Lisa the stove because he's like, he wants her to start cooking. He tells her that they're going to work together. They got to work together. They're going to have to, see eye to eye if they're going to be together. So Lisa, of course, is using the excuse that she's pregnant. And Malik tells her that, my mother cooks for my dad and Aunt Ella cooks for Uncle Curtis. So I just, he just expects her to cook for him. So Lisa says, well, you cook. And she said, well, I'm going to go lay on the couch. So then CJ comes in, and then, Malik tells CJ that Lisa isn't really helping out. And, CJ says, well, you need to get a job. He's like, Malik, you need to go get a job. And he said, I got you a job. He said, matter of fact, you're going to start tomorrow. Well, CJ just reminds Malik, he's like, you can really have a baby. And, I really don't want to help you take care of this child. He's like, that's your responsibility. I don't want any parts of it. So he's like, you need to get a job, get an apartment, and y'all need to go live there. So, then he said, so you need to go get a job. He said, so I need you to go cook and then go rub her feet. And Malik was like, well, her feet are not so nice. And then CJ's like, well, you chose them feet. And I like that CJ holds Malik accountable. Like everything Malik was trying to say, CJ was like, he was giving it right back to him. He was telling him, no excuses. You decided to have this child with this girl, even though you guys are young, even though you didn't get married or you aren't married. So now you have this life coming into the world that you are bringing into the world, and you have to be responsible. So I like that CJ is really holding Malik accountable. So, Miranda finally knocks on the door, and then, CJ tells her to come in, and he obviously already talked to Miranda. She must have called him before she came, and she asked him, and he agreed to watch Christian. So she comes in, and she's like, just showing her appreciation for CJ watching Christian, but she says for him not to tell Calvin, which I don't understand why. I'm not sure why she doesn't want Calvin to know. That was kind of strange. So anyway, CJ tells Malik and Lisa that they're going to babysit Christian and the twins. So they're like, what? So, they're like shocked because, they're like, oh my gosh, we got to watch these kids. Like, we don't know what to do. So then it goes back to Aunt Ella and Uncle Curtis's home. And, Uncle Curtis tells Aunt Ella that Miranda stopped by and, needed him to babysit. And Uncle Curtis was, basically telling Aunt Ella, who what's the child's name? First of all, that just let me know that during these divorce proceedings between Calvin and Miranda, obviously the Christian was not around Aunt Ella and Uncle Curtis much. Because for him to not even know his name or to forget, he kind of acts like he doesn't really know Christian that well, which tells me that they don't spend a whole lot of time with him. I mean, Aunt Ella's always open to watching him. Of course, she's always open to doing things to help out. But just based off of how Uncle Curtis was acting, it just seemed like maybe they didn't really spend too much time with him. So that was interesting to me. So Aunt Ella calls Miranda and she basically lets her know that, she would have watched him had she been able to, so she just, was letting her know how much she, just basically reassuring her that if she could have, she would have. So then CJ comes over and lets them know that Malik and Lisa are watching Christian and the Twins. He's like, I'm trying to give them a taste of what it's like to have kids, basically. And so on. Ella was like, well, don't stay over here too long. And he's like, I'll give him about 30 minutes. So he said, and then I'll go back. So then back at CJ's house, the house is a total mess. Malik and Lisa are like having the worst time with the kids. They not listening. They running around. They got toys all over the floor. I mean, they basically just running amok in the house. And so Lisa got to the point where she couldn't take it anymore. She kept talking about Christian like he was some demon child. And she basically left Malik downstairs by himself to take care of the kids. And she went upstairs. So Malik is like, what? He just like felt like helpless. Like first of all, the kids are going crazy and then you just leave me down here by myself? Okay. So then CJ comes back and Malik tells him that he doesn't know what to do, And he's like, am I really ready to have a baby? And CJ says, no, you really aren't. And CJ, goes on to tell him, because Malik asked him, were you? And he was like, no, I wasn't. When I was, he said, I wasn't really ready, but he said I was a little older, he said, and I had a job and I was more prepared. So CJ had a good conversation with him. He said, there are a lot of single people raising kids, but he said it does help to have a partner. And then Malik was like, Lisa's just not like that. She's not like that. And CJ tells him, y'all need to talk. This is what you need to do. These are things that you need to work out now. So, CJ takes the kids upstairs and calls Lisa downstairs. So what I want to say is I love how, the show is really showing through CJ, this wonderful black father teaching his black son how to be a responsible man. That is something that we don't see often. And, quite the contrary is spoken about in the media. Makes you, it makes people think that, black men are lazy or black men don't love their kids or black men don't take care of their kids or black men don't take care of their wives or their families and they're just out here being reckless. They have this picture of black men as being aggressive and, you ought to be afraid of them, but actually quite the contrary. There are a lot of black men out here raising their children, loving their families, teaching their young sons how to be men. There are a lot of them out here. And so I want to just celebrate black men today because, they get a lot of bad rap. It's bad enough with the police brutality and, but it's like on every side they get hit. So I like that the character of CJ is really, portraying this good black man, teaching his black son how to be a man. So I just really like that, and I just wanted to point that out. So then after Lisa comes downstairs, Malik tells Lisa that he's like, you just basically left me down here by myself. Like, he was like, why, basically he was kind of saying, look, we got to work together. If we're going to make this relationship work, we have to work together. And, Lisa was basically like first saying, are you breaking up with me? And he was like, no, but what I'm saying is, if order for us to work, we have to be on the same page. We got to be thinking the same way. We got to be going in the same direction. And I felt like Lisa basically dismissed Malik and just was like, okay, well, what's for dinner? And, this is the thing. Lisa even asked him, you want me to go back stripping? And he's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. And I think this is interesting to me because I like the fact that they're talking about relationships. And I noticed that when you're looking at Malik and looking at Lisa, it's obvious they come from two totally different backgrounds. You can tell by the way they communicate. But it just seemed like Lisa wasn't really hearing Malik. Now, I don't know if that meant that she was just, doing it on purpose, or she just really didn't understand. Because sometimes you can be with somebody and y'all can be speaking two different languages, or you could just be in two totally different worlds. And that is a problem. So relationships aren't easy. They take a lot of work. And I think it's going to be interesting. I like that they are unpacking the relationship between Malik and Lisa. I like that they are showing the dynamic, the difference in how they relate to one another, because it's important. And I'm looking forward to see how this storyline plays out, because it is actually a very good storyline if they do it well. These are two young people, a young black couple, getting ready to have a baby and navigating through life, not having it all figured out. I think that's, a wonderful thing to show, because I think at the core of their relationship, which I think they've mentioned it, they really both do love each other. But the question is love enough? And unfortunately, it is not. I mean, you have to do more than just love somebody to make a relationship work. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. It would be really nice if Janine was there and they really showed her kind of guiding Lisa and being sort of like that female figure that could really kind of help her and guide her through, the pregnancy, and also just relating to her other half, which is Malik. So we don't really even know what kind of relationship Jasmine has with Lisa. So it'd be interesting to know or to see what that's about. So all in all, I did appreciate the episode. I liked it. I am, like I always say, I'm a House of Payne fan, and I'm going to continue to support it. So I'm looking forward to the next video, the next episode. So you guys let me know what you think. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.